Welcome, everybody. It's QUIZZY Monday, and we have an absolutely packed show today. So I am going to push on really quickly with as little waffle as I can get away with. We have coming up with John Robinson from today's Brain of Britain and Ben Jones, or Ben Russell Jones, as we've known him previously from Mastermind. We've got Yvonne and hopefully Kate from Only Connect, and we should have a couple of people later on from Warwick University's team from University Challenge. And of course, I'll be joined by Lewis Jones, who will be co-hosting with me and keeping me on the straight and narrow, because with such a packed lineup, today could really run long, but he's under strict instructions to tell me to shut my mouth if I talk too much. Before we get going, a few things to share with you. We still have our shop, and on the left, Don Fear is now endorsing our mugs. So go to tinyurl.com/ATQ store if you want some quizzing merch. Video coming up this week is a review of the Popmaster board game with some quizzes you may well know from the UK quizzing circuit filmed at the Greek Geek Weekender. So look out for that. And we're going to be having a competition as well allied to that. The winner of What is the Question this week was... what is singer Neil Diamond's real surname? Turns out it's Diamond. So well done, Katrina Austin. This week's What is the Question answer is Bull. And you can now vote on the long list for that at tinyurl.com/WITQ Bull. I think that might be everything I need to share with you right now. So I remove that. And before we get going, one sad piece of news that's hit the quiz world today. Daniel Cohen, an American quizzer, has sadly passed away. He played for Crash Test Smarties in OQL USA, Albany Crossgates Maulers in OQL USA Nations, Three Mensch and a Shand, or a Shandy, in, I don't know how you pronounce that, in Connections Online Quiz League, and he's guested once as well for Pericardium in Online Quiz League. So pretty well-known figure, and a lot of people understandably very upset by that today. We sent our condolences and our best wishes to the American quizzing community, his family and friends, and everybody else who knew him. A very sad loss. So we now have quiz chat, and I'm going to bring on Lewis and Ben and John. And we are going to get cracking with some individual quizzing. We usually start with Only Connect, but today we have two guests who've done individual quizzes. John, Brain of Britain, Ben, Mastermind, in a way, flips of each other's experience. And might be a tenuous connection. John, Brain of Britain, you were looking like you were going to win that one today.
Yeah.
And then right at the death, it didn't happen. Whereas Ben looked like it might not happen and then did. So it's an interesting one. But John, the key thing for you in that final round was the appellations question.
Yeah.
So the phrasing was about which Great Highland System of North America, which to me is a weirdly phrased question. Did that throw you?
Yeah, not only was it weirdly phrased, but I misheard what he said as well, because I thought he said which highway system rather than Highland, so then I started thinking, I basically kind of switched off the rest of the question. I was like, what are the famous highway systems in America? It's not Route 66, so that doesn't go in Canada. And I was like, the only road I know that goes in Canada and America is the Pan American Highway. But I was like, well, it's not that, because that goes to Mexico as well. So all these thoughts were going through my head, and I was like, well, I don't know anything else, so I just say Pan American Highway. And then when Appalachian was revealed as the answer, I was like, what? The Appalachians aren't a road. And then listening back, I was like, oh, okay, it's asking for like a highland system, as in like a mountain range. But if it just said mountain range, I'd have got it. But I basically misheard and misunderstood the question.
I mean, I put it down, misunderstood it, misheard it, or didn't pass it. But clearly something went wrong. Because if you'd understood what they were looking for, you wouldn't have said that. And that's the problem with Brain of Britain. That's the final round. You're up there in the lead, or at least you were going into that round. And then you get the first question wrong, and that's 4 other questions you don't get asked.
Yeah. Did you say that's the problem with Brain of Britain? All right, you could list a few problems with Brain of Britain.
That's the problem that hurt you this time, anyway, John. But I guess you know that going in, don't you?
Yeah, and I mean, there's been some really good quizzes who've gone out already this series. Yeah. So, like, Rob Greenhill and Brian Craythorne are people who are amazing quizzers who just, the first question was a stinker in a lot of their rounds, and then obviously it means they, as you say, they can't get the other 4 points that possibly they could get.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is one of the flaws.
What possessed you to go on it, John? I mean, you're ticking the shows off. We were talking beforehand about, you know, Ben's ticking the shows off quickly, University Challenge and Mastermind, but you've done University Challenge, Mastermind only. Oh no, have you done Mastermind?
No, I haven't done Mastermind's one of the.
You've done University Challenge,
one
only
left
Connect,
to
and now Brain of Britain in 3 consecutive years. So Mastermind must be coming. But why did you go for Brain of Britain?
So I actually did it 5 years ago. It was like one of my first proper quizzing experiences before I'd really done much on the circuit, whatever. I'd listened to it a bit on the radio and thought I could give this a go. But then had the misfortune to come up against Andrew Fanco and Mark Eves and someone else I can't remember who was pretty decent. So came in third place in my heat then. And then you're allowed to apply 5 years later. So I was like, okay, I've got a bit more experience now and stand a bit more of a shot. And just still can't win the damn heat. Maybe,
oh well, 5 years time.
5 years time, or possibly a higher scoring loser place, depending on what happens in the other heats.
Yeah, we never quite know, do we, with Brain of Britain? Ben, you've gone for Mastermind, so University Challenge, last series out. You said some mighty fine words about Mastermind, about purist individual quizzing or something at the end you came out with. But what was it that made you think my next step is Mastermind? Is it really that Jonathan Gibson thing?
No, well, partly, yeah, partly, but like a lot of like choosing to go on it was the sort of rapid fire general knowledge questions that you can just go bang, 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 bang. It sort of appeals to me. What doesn't really appeal to me about Mastermind is actually half the show, the specialist subject. Because honestly, I'm not very good at learning stuff for like a specialist subject. But you know, it's half of what you got to do. And I thought I was young enough to you know try and make a splash or whatever for Mastermind. So I just gave it a bash really. The second half of the show is always my favorite because it's just like machine gun.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. We've got some people putting comments in the chat. Catherine got 6 points on Otters this evening. I remembered Midge.
Lovely.
So I was quite happy with that. We have a Mastermind predictions competition, he says, segueing seamlessly into it. And let's have a look at what the most predicted guesses tonight were. So for your subject, Benjamin Button, I can't read it from it, Geneva King and Edmund Wilson. I mean, those answers and the stuff, you know, when you were going through your prep, you know, were you able to kind of predict some of the answers that were coming up?
So yes, for the most part. I'd say so. I got 8 overall. I'd probably say that 7 out of 8 of them. No, 6 out of 8 of them was prep, and 2 of them, the other one with St. Paul and Princeton, are things I knew already about F. Scott Fitzgerald. But I knew he was going to be sort of in-depth stuff. The 3 answers here, I think, are very good. I think they would be like good stuff to come up, especially Geneva King and Edmund Wilson. Yeah. I can't quite remember who Geneva King is, but Edmund Wilson was a big friend of F. Scott Fitzgerald when he was at Princeton.
Geneva King, I think, is one of the inspirations for Daisy and The Great Gatsby. I think he had an affair with her before.
I think that's almost exactly correct. That sounds about right. I haven't looked at my cards in a long time.
Why did you go for this subject?
I have lost my audio. If anyone is listening, so
we can hear you, Gareth.
we can hear.
I'm taking over. Ben, why did you pick the subject?
I love The Great Gatsby. I think it's brilliant.
Good choice.
Like
good book.
Epic jazz age book. Jazz age America has always interested me for some reason. I don't know why. Just like short book as well. Don't need it. You know, it doesn't take too long to read, but it's also very impactful.
I was, if I can ask a question,
absolutely.
I was surprised. Did you expect there to be more questions on like the plots of the books? It seemed very much heavy on his life.
Yes.
Whereas if I was going, I'd expect more stuff on the actual content of the stuff he'd written.
Yes, I did expect more content on the book. Yeah, I carded a lot of his stories. I actually read Mayday and thought Mayday was pretty bleak, but like impactful. But stuff like The Jelly Bean and The Vegetable, which is his play that he wrote with I can't remember the guy's name. Ring Lardner, that's his name.
Mm.
All of that stuff was part of my preparation, and then none of it really came up. It was more about just a biographical question.
It's obviously he was an interesting man, right? So it makes sense they'd include some of that stuff. But I'm with John. I would much be, if I was choosing an author, I'd be expecting the impetus to be on their works, and so obviously sometimes it can go too much the other way. We've seen times when people have picked an author and there's been too much minutiae from their works, and which isn't particularly engaging otherwise. But yeah, you're right. I think more of the book content would have been enjoyable.
And I think especially if obviously it's an entertainment show and you want people who are watching it to enjoy it. And I think people who are watching it who maybe, like I consider myself a big fan of Scott Fitzgerald, so I would know stuff about his books, but I didn't really know any of much of the biographical stuff. So I think it makes it more interesting if there's more stuff about the things.
It was a lot of trivia. Like if you're gonna do a lot of biographical stuff, it makes sense to do stuff that's actually either funny or interesting. Like so,
or has impacted on influence on the books he's written.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So Beautiful Little Fool is what Zelda said when she was. Big quote in the Great Gatsby, and also that Fitzgerald and Ring Lardner once did a dance on the lawn of the apartment, the house that Joseph Conrad was staying in on Long Island once, and they got themselves kicked off the property, which was
but it is that sort of little story, isn't it? Because there was one question, I can't now remember which one, but he joins the military, goes to Fort Leavenworth, and he's in a unit with a future president. I can't remember which one it was. It's like, as soon as I heard that, it's like, well, that's obviously going to be a question. As soon as a question writer sees that, they're going to be throwing that out because people at home are going to think, oh, that's interesting. So
those little moments are good when you read through it. It's like, that's going to come up. That's going to come up. Yeah.
Michael has put in, you can specifically ask for life and career rather than life and books. For Arnie, I asked for life and career, so I didn't have to watch Junior or Jingle All the Way again.
It's a classic. Yeah, Jingle All the Way.
But it does come down to that kind of that definition of what your set is, and you get the flip side of people complaining about when people do a series of books, that it'll be like, it's almost as if they've opened the book to page 45 and just picked
what color was
a random thing that's not significant.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act, I guess. What did you learn then about your prep for a specialist subject that you now having to put into play in the semi-final?
Well, a lot of what said actually went into my prep because I was expecting a lot more literary content than biographical content, because I don't know much about the show. I just applied and said, hey, this is what I want to do, and they could suggest sources and so on and so forth. So I get the sources and then get the facts from the book, and they go, oh, this might come up, and so forth. So I was a little bit more conscious after the round of one, you might not need to concentrate so much on the literary stuff than the biographical stuff, or at least concentrate equally on both, because it's quite unpredictable if you don't specify the life or the works of Fitzgerald. And two, I needed to, this is general knowledge, but I need to go and work on my fundamentals, because my fundamentals aren't good enough in terms of just missing too many level 1s and level 2s from certain areas.
Are we allowed to know what you're doing in your semi-final? What was that?
I can tell, can't I?
Yeah,
I think I can tell.
Probably not.
Nobody's watching, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm doing the American poet Elizabeth Bishop.
Okay,
nice.
All right. So sticking in the
Keeping
same
literary
area, literary life of works of interesting. John, you'd been on Brain of Britain before. Did you approach Brain of Britain differently, having had that first experience?
I think the only thing, as is the case with general knowledge, I guess you can't revise for specific things other than doing your regular, flashcarding or whatever. But the only strategic thing that I thought I need to get right is the buzzing in for bonuses, which again there's not an exact science to it, because they say you're not allowed to buzz in until someone else has had their 10 seconds thinking time. But we did a little warm up beforehand. And in the warm up, there was one of the contestants, I've got to say, kept on buzzing in really, and I thought they keep on buzzing in. I know the answer, but I'm waiting for likely to buzz in. So then I thought, right, I'm just going to be brutal in the when it comes to doing it for real. And as soon as someone uttered like a syllable of their answer, if I knew what they were saying was wrong, I just thought, well, I'm just going to buzz in so that I can be first in the bonus queue every time. And yeah, it'd be much better if it was a Mimir style format and they actually did it based on that. But
it would make any sense or logic.
Yeah. So that was my main thing, is just making sure I was getting in and just trying to basically have a go at every single bonus, even if I had no idea, just to guess something.
We're going to have to move on because we've got loads of stuff coming up. I could see that the Warwick folk are in the waiting area early. Guys, you've got a little bit of time before we're going to get to your Warwick, because we've got to talk Only Connect first. So if you do want to have a drink or something else, you feel free. Before we get on to that, let me just go through... So the predictions, so this is subject to audit and subject to protest, but Rob Jones got 5 points for his predictions this week. Emma Napper and Simon Capel, 4. Ed Mason, our leader at the moment, 3. Michael McPartland and Pam Douglas, 2 each. And Huang Yi and Philip Isaac, 1 point. So the leaderboard, and we've had to cut a few off now at the bottom because so many people playing, but Ed Mason is leading still, 5-point lead from Pam Douglas, and Huang Yi from Ningbo, China, is in 3rd. And we will be just double checking everything and putting out the full leaderboard over the course of the week. So look out for that on our channels. Final thoughts then, before we move on to Only Connect, John and Ben, positive experience or learning experience?
Positive generally. I think it's always good fun to do something a little bit different. It was fun to go up to Salford and record the show and meet some nice people. Hopefully, you'll find out in a few weeks whether or not I've done well enough to get to the semi-final. So touch wood.
Fingers crossed on that. And Ben, you left clearly, semi-finalist. That's a big thing in itself. But you must have been buoyed up by that, particularly after not doing as well as you would have liked in the specialist subject.
Yeah, definitely a good experience. I was very lucky to get through. That's all I'll say. I think I played averagely is being kind to me. I think I made too many mistakes, and my preparation for the subject wasn't quite good enough or extensive enough, and I have stuff to learn from that. I was going to ask a question, or just mention something about Brain Britain, John. But, okay. I thought there was a very cruel question given to John where they asked about benzene. Because I think the first thing a lot of people think of when they think of benzene is just Kukule.
Yeah, it was an instinct. I heard benzene and a scientist. I was like, this is going to be Kukule, and didn't even think. And not that I'm bitter as well, but another question I was really annoyed about as well is what building material are these buildings made from? And I was like, well, the obvious thing is brick, because these are all relatively stuff that's been built in the last couple of hundred years. Brick is what most buildings are made out of. Surely it can't be brick. It's going to be something more weird than that. So I said wattle and door, because I was like, maybe they were using some old build material. Turns out it was brick. But,
it's annoying when you double think yourself on these things. John,
do you want to list all your enemies while we're here as well?
Yeah. Now the liars. It was unfortunate, John. It's the perverse nature of the Brain of Britain format that cost you today. So unlucky. Ben, on the other hand, fantastic.
Very lucky.
Knowledge. Fantastic general knowledge got you through. One final comment about Mastermind predictions is next week's subjects are the folk musician Richard Thompson, Ted Lasso, the life and work of Joan Didion, and the early life of Gandhi. So if you want to play the predictions competition, then you can go to tinyurl.com/mm-predict-23, and you can start putting in your predictions now, and predictions are open for entries until Sunday night. So get those entries in, and you too could be scoring points in this prestigious competition that the whole world is talking about. And now, let's go on to Only Connect and focus staying on, because people want to chat about Only Connect. Say to the Warwick folk, we will get to you in due course. But first, Only Connect. That's an odd Nothing there. That's slightly better. Welcome, Yvonne.
Right.
Losing you. The Academicals.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Gutted.
was such an up and down match tonight.
Yeah, it was. We were freaking out after round one when we were like, "Oh God, we're going to go out horribly," but we pulled it back. So at least we left with our heads held high.
Yeah, it was a good game. Lewis, watching that.
Yeah.
What sort of game did you feel it was? It was
It was a very
two
interesting
nice
game.
teams, two well-matched teams.
Lovely teams. Everyone came across really well. It was really fun. I think you could tell, like, just on the first question, there was a really nice chunk of chat after it, which always, I think, to me says, yeah, this, these are good teams you want to hear from. They wouldn't do that otherwise. But I thought you were so unlucky, Yvonne. 2 X's in round 1 is just, you can't predict that, and that's so unlucky. And there was such interest, like that one with your pictures. Was one where as soon as you get told it, you go, "Oh yeah, of course it is." But otherwise, you're just staring at nothing. Yeah,
and
exactly.
They did actually have to go and do a bit of research to figure out if the wedding anniversaries thing was going to be an acceptable answer. So there was a reasonable amount of production discussion about that. But it goes to show, as ever, it's just how the luck of the questions fall, because Chris knew the rhyming names one. As soon as the hobbits came up, he was like, "Well, they're called this," and I was like, "They're what?" Okay, you really are a nerd, but I love you. So he knew straight away that's what the connection was, and the whole way through we could see they didn't have a clue until they got to Huey, Julie, and Louie.
Yeah, and then they sort of fell into it, right? They seemed to they surprised themselves. That was a lovely bit of television.
Yeah, I think we all kind of had a few answers where we felt like we were guessing.
Yes.
And we just happened to guess right.
Yeah.
Now, last time you were on, we commented that you were teachers and the bravery of being teachers, coming on a TV quiz show, etc. But it was school holiday time.
Yeah.
But Andrew from last series has put bad luck to the Academicals. Love a teacher team. It's always scary, risking embarrassing yourself on TV where students can see, but definitely not the case for the Academicals. Have you had any feedback from your kids?
Well, the week after we were on the first time, it was the GCSE results day, and I went in, and even before she'd opened her envelope, one of my year 11s greeted me with, "Miss, you're on TikTok." I was like, "On what?" And one of the kids has set up an account, and they've made some TikTok reels of basically our facial expressions on Only Connect.
Nice.
And it was very sweet. It was completely like complimentary. It wasn't done as a slagging off thing or anything. So yeah, we were reliving that one after school. But I've had quite a few children come up to us today and go, "Miss, you're on the telly tonight." And sort of by the end of it, you feel like going, "Am I? I didn't know." But yeah, there was 1 or 2 of them that genuinely thought we were going to go and film it tonight. And one of them was a little bit worried about how I was going to get from Hailsham to Cardiff and back again for school tomorrow.
They're probably hoping that you wouldn't, and they'd get the morning off or something.
You never know.
John, have you had that kind of thing? Because obviously you're an old hand now at the TV stuff. So do you have your students
do your kids love Radio 4?
Oh yeah, they're all tuning in today.
They must have been saying, "Can I be excused? I want to listen to the radio at 3 o'clock."
Yeah, 100%. I think certainly, again, with the TV stuff, when I'd say, "Oh, make sure you tune in tonight to Only Connect" or whatever, then they would always say, "Oh, good luck when you go and film it tonight, then, sir." I didn't want to ruin the magic, so I didn't say it had been filmed 6 months ago, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, bless. Kate, you made it.
Hi,
We've
Kate.
only just started talking about Only Connect.
Very sorry I'm late.
No, it's fine. We've just got onto OC. Congratulations, Kate. We were talking about that was a topsy-turvy match. What was it like playing in that for you?
We had no idea what was going on. We had no idea what the score was, really, to be honest. And we were just having a lovely time. And, you'll probably see we hadn't really got a clue. We were all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the best way to be. But,
yeah. It's great to see people just go and then be right. It's always really nice. And we were just saying that, like, you didn't really seem to know about the rhyming names, but you got it. And it's all nice to see your 3 smiling faces, just delighted that you got it right.
Yeah, I mean, I really have no idea how we got some of those points, to be honest. But it was just a stab in the dark for most of them. So what can you do?
Oh, well, you take them, don't you, when they come. what were your kind of highlights of those first couple of rounds? Because obviously for the academicals, first round was a pretty much washout, wasn't it? You managed to get 1 point, but in those first
Yeah.
couple of rounds, were there any kind of key moments of pride?
I actually, when I was looking back in it, I couldn't remember most of the questions at all, to be honest. And the one that they put on the sort of advertising the game today with the animal names, the chimpanzee and everything, I hadn't even remembered we'd had that question, to be honest. And I couldn't even remember what the answer was. And it took ages to work out what the answer was. So that was actually, I was really pleased we got that one, because until I watched it again today, I hadn't even realised we got it. So.
It was a lovely question.
It was a good one.
One of the
Really
best
good
ones tonight.
question.
Really nice conceit.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got it for 2. It was the only thing that went for more than 1 in that first round.
Yeah.
And did well on the music as well. Again, you didn't massively seem to know many of the pieces of music, but you knew they were nevers.
Yeah. I think we were a bit jammy, to be honest.
Oh, I mean, I mean,
You've got to be though. That's it.
you
in
need
a game
to
like
take
this.
luck, don't you?
Yeah. You're going to face 6 questions. That basically in the first 2 rounds, you have to have a bit of luck. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
There was one answer by Yvonne that you particularly liked, wasn't there, Lewis?
Well, what?
Well, let me throw Andrew's comment. Enjoyed the Roman numerals.
Oh, I love the Roman numerals question. That made me so
Lovely
happy because I saw it come up and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
And the only thing I wasn't completely sure about is whether it was going to be rotating like another 90 degrees or whether it was going to go 45 and go to like northeast or anything like that. So that was good. That was a pleasure, that question. And then the NATO one as well. I think the first when that one came up, I was like, well, it's NATO. But I'm really glad we took the next clue because we would never have figured out from the first clue that it was in French.
Oh.
Yes, I'd completely forgotten that for some reason the French have got the whole thing backwards.
Yeah,
or for their reason, French. That's the reason. But I think you had a really good round 2, didn't you, Academicals? It was really, really good one. You had the battleships one was a nice one.
That was a good question.
Well, obviously, it was one of those really good ones because the third clue literally says battleship. Like, if that's not a clue enough here, that should do something.
And it's like, well, what's left? Oh, it's the big one.
Yeah, exactly.
The large one.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then
my
on the upside,
highlight of the first 2 rounds was being quick enough at typing to put winner chicken dinner into Twitter before the answer was given. It's like, yes, that's my level.
Yeah, we felt a little bit bad for the lovely gardeners on that one because we were sitting there going, don't let them get it, don't let them get it. We know it.
I thought we were trying to be a bit too clever, and I was thinking of like, I don't know what I was thinking, but we were being, thinking of something completely different. We should have just stuck with simple things.
Well, you did go for the good OC default of say the first one again.
Yeah, what else can you do if you've
Never
got to just guess something?
So yeah, I mean, it flip flopped. Academicals were 10-7 ahead going into the walls. Gardeners, I thought that was just really good wall play. Where you came up against red herrings and whatever, you just worked the process and worked through it. I mean, we
Anna's
talked
really
about kind of
good
practice
at the
before.
tapping. Anna's very good at working through the trying them all
it's
in
an
rotation.
underrated skill.
Yeah.
Keeping that in your mind, knowing where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I did it, I would have always forgotten what I'd already pressed. So she would never let me do that.
But you have to be vocal, don't you? I guess when you're doing it, leave out this, leave out that, so you kind of make sure you're working through process. But I you spotted the connections, dodged some fearsome red herrings. I thought that was good play. Ben, how are you when you're watching these walls? Does that kind of play to your brain?
The short answer is no. On my COQL team, I'm the one who looks at the end of words for the ones that are tricky in the words. The one that was the method that was started by Frances Clark Murray a few seasons ago when she'd say, "Do your job." So I do my job. The wall just reminds me normally of these the connection game on New York Times. And I can't do that either. So it's quite funny. I thought the teams were both quite good. It was quite sad with the 12 Days of Christmas. thing.
Oh, that was so annoying.
Screaming at the screen to you, Yvonne.
My mum very helpfully told me that she was shouting at the telly, so that was kind. Yeah, it's one of those things that you just see it that split second too late. And Victoria was kind enough to tell us after the camera stopped rolling what French Dove was, and I wish she hadn't.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting because Valerie googled it and didn't get anything salacious, so we'll have to chat later.
No, don't do it, Lewis. Don't do it.
I'm not reading anything out loud, but
it is on Twitter. If you do hashtag only connect, a couple of people have screenshotted the Urban Dictionary. Yeah.
I mean, Andrew makes a very good point. We're 3 months away. Too early for a Christmas quest.
Never mind 3 months. We filmed it in March.
Oh no!
I saw a man dressed in a Santa outfit yesterday.
Oh,
oh Lord!
Time has no meaning.
Broken Britain. That's what it is. So the academicals wall. There was some mean stuff in there.
Oh, we've had two stinkers of a wall.
You have. I think you've been so unlucky with both. I thought, like the chess openings was. I was like, it was niggling. I was like, I know these, but I didn't see it straight. It's not my thing. People in quiz always know that sort of stuff, but like, no.
I don't know where Tom pulled that.
Yeah, and he pulled it.
I think he recognised one of them and was like, "That's a chess opening, so that's what we're going with."
Yeah, but that just felt like super specific, maybe for this level, this early in the competition. And I thought George Ezra's songs was also. I mean, I know he's very successful, and you got them really early, but that also was one of those things where I could see another team, like they often have on the show, just not being aware of the pop stylings of George Ezra and having a clue about it. Yeah, I think you did really well considering on what was there. It was a really, really tough one, and I'm glad that we didn't face it. Really bad luck.
Yeah, I mean it was unfortunate for you, obviously, and there were some tricky ones that took the time, which meant you didn't really have the time at the end to kind of think through things like the 12 days of Christmas. But you're only 2 points down after the walls, so you must be thinking, we're still in this game when you go into and sit in the studio. Well, you're in the game until that first set of missing vowels comes along, and the other team
go bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. But you must still have fancied yourselves at that point.
Yeah, we were still sort of thinking, okay, well, we might be all right, and we'd learned from our Isotopes match that just to hit the buzzer quickly, even if you're not 100% sure, just hit the buzzer and hope.
Go.
But yeah, some of those first ones. I mean, the man on the Clapham omnibus, fair play, Kate. That was
great work, Kate. Really nice.
What is that? That didn't mean anything to the three of us. And you got it. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a legal test, isn't it?
Some judge used to talk all about the average Joe Blogs, but he'd say the man on the Clapham omnibus.
Yeah.
Would they be expected to know this, etc.? Indeed.
I could feel actually when I pressed the buzzer for that one, I could feel both the girls looking at me going, "What on earth have you pressed for?"
Well, I mean, that's a common thing in buzzer quizzing. When you're puzzled, you can't find a route in, and somebody goes, "It's what?" That and blessed relief as well when you realise they're getting it. I mean, John, you've done University Challenge as have you, Lewis, and missing vowels. Do you think there's the technique is similar on Only Connect, diving in on the buzzer?
Yeah, I think often the category will come up and you'll get an idea what's going to be coming up as the answers beforehand, which sometimes can be a disadvantage because in the back of your mind you'll be like, this is definitely going to come up.
You take the extra seconds.
Yeah, and then it doesn't come up. But yeah, quite often, especially if it's shorter clues, I think it's worth just buzzing in, and you've got that half a second to work out in between you buzzing, Victoria saying your name, and being able to work it out. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and you might end up negging, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's they definitely are related. Being on the buzzer can just be such a fearful experience. I think it's so there's so much onus on it, particularly when you know you're going to lose points if you screw it up. But yes, that difference of John says with this, because you always know what you have an idea, you'll have an inkling what's coming up. It's kind of a slightly different mental experience than when you're on, say, UC, and you're just waiting for that word that clicks in your head. You sort of have to blank everything else out and just go, okay, that picks, try and connect the things, and then that one's a lot more about the risk of it. Like, there's always the risk of, are you going to go early to get it or are you going to wait till you're sure? I suppose there's that risk on OC as well. But also, most importantly, the difference is the buzzers I'm talking about this every week. The buzzers are very different. I was expecting UC style buzzers in the Only Connect studio, like little, little buttons. But no, you have to really get down on them. Couldn't have predicted that. But I'm going to tell everyone if you're on next season of Only Connect, let me know, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the buzzer is like, so you can buy one and practice at home.
Simulate that buzzer. We had that comment brought up from Paul about the look Anna gave Kate after the man of Clapham Omnibus. So that was being Paul's champagne moment.
Kids think their parents don't know about anything, don't they?
Well, you showed them, Kate. You showed them. I mean, it was a great episode. What are your champagne moments, Kate? Your champagne moment of the episode, Yvonne. Sadly, that's your experience done on Only Connect, at least until the Christmas specials. So, what was your champagne moment of the series? First, let's start with you, Yvonne. Your best bit of the series.
I think it was probably just seeing one of the sequences come up and go just confidently, yes, I know what this is. I think probably the Roman numerals one was one of the few questions that I remembered from filming. I mean, most of it was just a complete blur. Afterwards, it was like we remembered the 18 question from our first episode, and I remembered the Roman numerals, and everything else was just like, I've got no clue. I don't remember what we did or what happened. I feel vaguely traumatized by the whole thing, but I have so much fun.
Oh, but that was your first TV experience. Are you tempted to do something again?
Not at the moment. I have not massively enjoyed watching myself on the telly. It turns out my thinking face is not as intelligent as I thought it was. And that's made me cringe a little bit. But I've not been completely put off by it. It's just Only Connect was the dream. We wanted to do this. We've been trying for years to get on it, and we've achieved it. So we're just like, we're just basking in the fact that we went on and we didn't disgrace ourselves or our school, thankfully.
Most importantly.
We can actually go in tomorrow. Hoping.
Yeah. You absolutely can hold your head high. Kate, your favourite moment of this episode, because we get to see you again. Yay.
Woo! I did love the man on the Clapham Omnibus moment, just because my kids looked so aghast that I could do it. But I just want to say to Yvonne, it was so lovely to meet you on the day, and I'm sorry we knocked you out because you're a lovely team. And then, of course, we kept meeting you on the way home on the train, didn't you?
We did. It was like, it was a bit weird. No, it was lovely. We had such a good time, and actually, you guys were in the same boat as us as well. This kind of, we've never been on a quiz show, and there's the Isotopes and the Also Ran sitting around in the green room talking about all the things they've been on before. So what quizzes have you been on before? And we were like, what are you talking about? This is one.
Oh, bless.
And we were just like that. We were like, we're just here to have a good time,
Yeah. And the looks on your faces when you realised that you'd won and you'd got 21 points, and you were just like, really? Oh, that was brilliant.
We were a bit
I loved it.
Really.
Oh, well, so we're grateful for the Academicals. You've been a lovely team. Really enjoyed watching you. And Gardeners, we look forward, Kate, to seeing you all again before too long, because this series is going to keep these episodes coming at us quick fire.
I don't know when, but I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Kate, we're going to have to sadly say goodbye to you at this point because we've got some videos to play to allow you to kind of disappear off and have a drink. And then we will be bringing the mighty Warwick team on, and we'll be chatting University Challenge. Ben showing his solidarity.
I'm a Warwick graduate as well, so hooray for Warwick.
Thank you so much, Kate and Yvonne. Goodbye.
Thanks
for now.
Bye, guys. Love to see you.
Have you been waiting for a range of quiz merchandise to come on the market? Then wait no more. Whatever type of quizzer you are, whether you're a flashcarder, or you quiz with pride, or want to celebrate great quizzes like Millionaire Champions, or Bill McCaig, the king of 15 to 1, or your favourite TV shows, or even your favourite YouTube channel. Where do you go? The answer's loading. It's tinyurl.com/ATQ store. Huge thanks to our community of All Things Quiz members. Your support helps us to keep this channel going. It pays for essential running costs. Now, if you want to become a member of All Things Quiz, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/allthingsquiz, and from £3 a month, you not only get to support the work of this channel, but there are a range of member benefits available, including our monthly quiz. Hope to see you soon. Yeah, our monthly quiz is coming up this Sunday evening. There is a 7-day free trial, so if you did want to complete the free trial, you could come along to our quiz on Sunday. It's our 3rd anniversary quiz. We're planning some special things, which we're not saying quite what they are, but it'll be a lot of fun. Sunday at 8 p.m. if you want to join us. Now, talking of joining us, we are delighted to have, looks like, 3 members of the Warwick team. Good evening, all.
4.
Oh,
Wow.
3.5.
House.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, 3 in the reserve in my case. Yeah.
is that Thomas lurking?
It is.
Thomas,
Hello.
it is. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can get you bigger. No, don't think that works.
Oh, there we go.
Let's budge in a bit.
Yeah, let's go that aspect ratio, perhaps.
That'll do.
Well, anyway, let me see if I can. I think that probably is better, to be honest, because you're bigger and we can actually see you. Well done, Warwick. That was a really, really good performance. You were asked at the end by Amor, would you have taken that? It's like, well, yeah, but it didn't necessarily all the way through feel like it was going to be that convincing, did it?
We thought we were rinsed at the halfway point. We thought it was over because they got on quite a roll there halfway through Wolfson. But yeah, I think it was towards the end we just sort of things went our way, I think, is what happened.
The other thing that's not seen, I think we're okay to say, is that in the practice questions, like, Wolfson totally owned us, and so we got the good start at the start, but then we thought was like their true potential, and then at the halfway point we thought, oh no, they're going to absolutely just overtake us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we somehow took it back. So
yeah, you did. You got off to a really good start, but it was a really interesting match because Wolfson were negging like it was going out of fashion at the start. But what I was really impressed by, this always does impress me anyway, but I think like their first 3 or 4 buzzes
they got to minus 15, didn't they?
It didn't put them off.
No,
They kept going, which, you'd be forgiven for freaking out after, the first couple of times you buzz in and it's a neg and not wanting to put your head above parapet. I was impressed by that. That did allow you to get ahead. So, what are you thinking when you're seeing the other team kind of self-destructing early on?
I mean, it's sort of because they were pretty cool customers, the whole sort of beforehand and sort of during. So we were a bit sort of, when they did start coming back, we were a bit put off. Obviously, we were sort of feeling a bit more confident once they, like you said, started negging like it was going out of fashion. But because I think we were quite afraid of, well, James was quite afraid of negging. So I'm glad you managed to avoid that, didn't you?
I didn't manage to avoid that. I think it was a previous All Things quiz who said there was a quiz bowl game I negged 6 times once, so I'm known a bit for being a negger. So thankfully I didn't manage to do that. But yeah, we were a bit worried. That's all we can say.
There was a palpable feeling of relief on your face when you buzzed in with that Saint, which was probably in the last third of the match, and it was like you were the last one on the team to get a buzz, and it was like,
yes,
I'm in the game. It kind of
it was the funny thing was after I had there was this thought in my head when Matt got his ale buzz, and then I went, oh no, everyone else has got a buzz.
Even Matt has got a buzz.
Yeah, that was what I said. That's why I said to Matt, I said, even Matt has got a buzz. I've got to step up my game now. But thankfully, at the end of the game, we sort of made things a bit more even. But yeah, I think it was after that bonus set we got to 165, and I don't think it's evident on the camera, but I said to the team, I was like, we're safe. We're coming back. We're coming back. It's okay. But yeah, I think that's the point where we got to relax a bit, and then I think our ability showed from there on. I think.
Yeah, because Amor said at the start, 160 plus sees you through as a high scoring loser. So was that, really forefront of your minds that whatever else happened, that was what you wanted to get?
We just didn't want to go out after one game.
Yeah, I think a funny thing is we asked, we were like, so what's the high scoring loser bar? And they were like, we can't tell you yet. And then we were sat in the chairs, and Amor said 160, and I think I remember me and Luke looking at each other, going like, "What the hell? That's quite high." But yeah, I think we were. Yeah, once we got to that point, we were okay. Yeah, there was a bit of pressure, I think. Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't catch that. There's a little bit of.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. What did you miss?
Just that last comment, was that by?
I was just saying that when we only found out what the high scoring loser score was at our point when we were sat in the chairs when Amor actually said it in the preamble, and then we were a bit shocked to find out what it was, but then once we got there, it was all right. Yeah.
It was a. I guess it's the thing that you couldn't have been prepared for, was the amount of questions that Amor gets through compared to Paxman, which is where you've grown up watching Jeremy Paxman do it. Talking of people who have the Paxman experience, we got 3 here in Lewis, Ben, and John. What were your take on watching Warwick and watching the game tonight?
Yeah, it's a really fun game. Good buzzes from everyone, and I can't remember. My favourite question was there was a Dostoevsky question, which I always like. It just reminds me of The Office. And
Fyodor
Mikhailovich Dostoevsky, born 1821.
1821, died.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got that just for that.
Yeah. Although sadly they didn't, did they? Because they said Tales from the Underground, and it was
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead. So,
Ben, you're a lover of the format. Still an avid Quiz Bowl player. Have you ever come up against this lot, Ben?
Many times. I like this game a lot. There are a couple of the warp buzzers I thought were great. Ale out of nowhere.
Yeah,
no idea what's going on there.
I would have had to walk off if I hadn't got that. So.
How excited you were when you said ale as well.
The daggers buzz was phenomenal.
Yeah, great buzz.
Yeah. James looked like
you almost seemed unsure about it, even though it was the first thing. It was really good.
This is in the studio, I thought I'm going to look so confident when I say it, and then when I was shaking my head on the camera, and I was like, "That's not me. That wasn't me when I buzzed with that." But yeah, it was a funny buzz, that one. Yeah.
And I also loved Abby's buzz on the Bartok.
Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah.
And obviously
we had to retake that 3 times. Because Roger Tilling.
Yeah, despite what he said, he did have some trouble with the name. Yes,
he's an amateur.
I mean, it came across well, but what you're saying, what I'm hearing then is that there were retakes.
More TV magic.
He struggled with your name, Abby.
He kind of got it. He just got extremely excited.
He said your name with a level of excitement that was completely out of proportion to where it was in the episode. So
it was the moment you said "get the fuck in" that you knew. Oh, actually, we're gonna have to change that.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes through. He was just screaming. And it's it's not time for that, Roger. Come on, be reasonable.
He put that tweet out about Abby's name earlier, but he was genuinely really, really excited to say Abby's name. And whenever she buzzed, he was very happy with it because he got to sink his teeth into a properly complicated name. But yeah,
he loves those. He loves the
yes,
Norzhek Zoko or whatever from a few years ago.
Yeah.
It must have been good for him, especially considering the shortness of some of the names of the other team. It was nice to have the range.
Yeah, Anne, Pan, Bliss, Co. Yeah, I mean, it makes life more interesting, doesn't it?
It was my dullest moment in the match. Just before when he was like, "Am I pronouncing a Carapon Pasecti right?" And I said, "Oh, can you handle my name? Are you okay with that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking fine with that." But yeah. I had my go at comedy. I don't think it worked.
I mean, Warwick, you've got a strong pedigree in University Challenge. I think last week we were talking Sheffield and the benefit of them having Lewis kind of supporting and advising. What sort of support have you had from previous generations of University Challenge players, if at all?
Have you spoken to Rout in the last couple of years?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the sort of Rout presence.
He's still here.
Yeah,
He's somehow
he
still
refuses
here.
to leave. He's been sort of around, and certainly, I mean,
was our mascot as well.
Yeah.
Ethan as
and
well.
our mascot.
Like,
God rest his soul.
Unsung hero of Warwick Quiz. Ethan Webb. Yeah.
Very much the fifth Beatle. But yeah, we've had the sort of quiz sock old hands of sort of Ethan and Rout have been immensely helpful throughout the entire process in sort of, you know, getting things done, and sort of they ran the selection thing, and also sort of did all of our practices as well. So sort of had a boot camp thing going.
They were enormously helpful. Yeah. We're glad to put Ethan on UC and whatever way.
Finally.
Yeah.
He will be missed.
Yeah, he will be very, very missed.
I think I think joke on this. I think he was on 3 or 4 teams that were not selected, and he was the reserve for the Warwick team that won a few years ago.
Yeah,
and has since graduated. So
yeah. Well, and he died. I didn't know that ice cream trucks could move like that. So yeah, it's a tragedy what happened. But,
about 99 plague. Just it was a bit too fast for
I think watching the episode back, his forehead every time Luke buzzes is going to be extremely off-putting.
Yeah.
We've got so many, right? Yeah.
Having been literally behind the cameras and watching the recorded, that was very funny to see Ethan just in the corner. Whenever they had a shot of Matt or Luke, it was very, very funny.
He's exactly where he should be.
Yeah,
exactly where he should be.
I mean, the mind is whirring. With ice cream van related tragedies. Quiz itself. Were there any particular starters aside? You did pretty well converting bonuses. Were there any of those that you felt particularly happy with, particularly enjoyed?
Just the film.
We just let you do that, right?
Yeah. The 1997 film one was generally because we are admittedly quite a
film-heavy side.
I think we're a trash-heavy side.
Pop culture heavy. Yeah,
right,
we're quite a pop culture-based side, which is quite unfortunate when the classical music came up.
Yeah. But we love the film.
That film bonuses, we just. I mean, some of us knew some of the answers, but we just let Matt run with it, and then
I mean, I heard James Elroy and was just like,
yes, your face at that moment. Yeah. I actually made a note about that, about smiling. Just sat there thinking,
Matt and I actually watched LA Confidential quite recently together.
Yeah,
and he just kept talking about James Elroy, so he clearly knows his stuff. It's deep knowledge. Yeah, it's in there. It's right in there. Yeah. That was the bonuses we did. We were kicking ourselves over.
There are a few silly methods.
Dracula was particularly like on the train home. We just kept going. How the hell did we not get Dracula? But that's just the way it goes.
Hi, Richard.
Hello, Richard. Hi, Richard.
Seeing how beaming when Elroy was mentioned was a magical moment. Good to see you, Richard.
Someone else who helped select the team and was generally very helpful.
We love Richard too. Yeah.
And also had a very nice meal out with him the night before filming because he lives in Manchester.
Okay.
Oh god, I turned up late to the.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I had my frigging
story for another time.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
There's too much to talk about.
So, I mean, you've watched University Challenge. How did the experience live up to expectations?
Oh, of course he's looking at me. It was great.
You're the one with the like savant knowledge of every UC episode.
Anyone at Warwick will tell you I was UC's biggest fan. I have always been UC's biggest fan. Compared to everyone else at Quiz Bowl, I knew too much about University Challenge, and I must say it was really nice, actually.
Yeah, everyone's really nice.
It was,
Honestly,
like Amal Rajan as well was great. Like he came up to us, said hi, and just great. And the producers as well, just really friendly, and it was a great experience. It was a great day out. And on the way back, we were talking all about the great memories we made. It was really lovely. Yeah.
Oh no, ignore that.
Oh no, should we?
Yep.
Should we ignore it?
Yep.
It was a fantastic experience. That's all I say. Yeah.
Good. And of course, it's an experience that carries on. Because you are now into the second round. No second chances though in the second round. It's do or die, isn't it?
I've said my pieces about that. Yeah, about that round. For years I've been saying it's a bit ridiculous, but yeah, no second chances in the second round.
So there's some heavy hitting teams. How aware are you of some of the teams that have been, whilst it's filming? Perhaps not now. Obviously, you've been watching it, but how aware are you of like the likes of Imperial and others?
The funny thing was, again, I don't know if we're saying too much, but when we sat in our chairs, like I think Imperial was the last match filmed before us because their score flashed up on our screens, and we went, "Oh my god, 285." That's really high, and then it reset to Warwick Wolfson 0-0. But we had like that. We had a very clear picture of what a good score looked like in our heads.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gone.
If you give us a second, we are currently being kicked out of the faculty building.
We're being kicked out. Yeah, we are broadcasting to you from the somehow Sterling Prize nominated Faculty of Arts building.
They don't know how
I
famous
work
we are.
in here. This is what Warwick does to their staff. Right.
I thought for a minute there we were in some sort of horror movie trope where one by one there was a knock at the door and one of you disappeared, and then next Thomas is off, and before you know it, Matt, you're on your own.
So yes, apologies about that, but we will have to cut it short. But it's been an absolute pleasure.
Cool. Well, best of congratulations. You did fantastically.
Thank you.
And hopefully, we look forward to seeing you in the next round. And
okay, brilliant.
And please don't get locked in.
We'll try not to.
Lock us in. No. We break too much stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Brilliant. Cheers,
Bye, guys.
See ya.
That was Warwick, and whoever was knocking at the door might have been Valerie trying to get us moving and on time with tonight's broadcast.
Let's get this last bit done.
Badly. The one thing we have left to do before we perhaps just finally recap with Ben, John, and Lewis on sort of moments of the evening is we're going to look at Quiz Week and the news from the world of quiz. So let us have a go. Last week's Quiz of the Week was George Twigg, who won his Mastermind Heat. Second, Ole Martin Halk, who won the Norwegian Quiz Championships. Third was David Barber, who I think got an OQL full house. Team of the Week was Sheffield University. Second was Suncatchers from Only Connect. Third was Small Planet from the Norwegian Quiz Championships. So well done to all of those. This week's nominees are Too Small for Me to Read. No, that's better. I zoomed in. We got Jude Cole. Sorry, John. Who won today's Brain of Britain Heat. Brian Craythorne got an OQL full house. Annika Garcia, an OQL USA Regions full house. Jonathan Gibson, that guy that Ben is hunting down. He got an OQL full house and 14 out of 15 in Pop Culture Challenge. Tim Hall got an OQL full house. Mark Henry won the Irish Quiz Championships. Fantastic quizzer Mark. So he gets a nomination. Dejan Kotiga won the Mirko Mircic Memorial Individual Quiz. Now, that is a quiz in Croatia, I believe, but it's pretty much a regional competition. Croatia, Serbia, Herzegovina, even Switzerland. So a lot of countries around that area competed in that big tournament. So well done to Dejan. Evan Lynch won the OQL Autumn Individual Championships written quiz at the weekend. Muffy Morocco and Matt Takimoto got OQL USA Regions full houses. And Ben Jones No Ben Russell Jones anymore. You have to win Mastermind to get the Russell back, Ben.
Well, that's inspiration by itself, really, to reclaim the middle name. Yeah.
And Ben for winning tonight's Mastermind. So well done. All of those get nominated. You can now vote at tinyurl.com/QW25sept23. Team of the week. Dan Kotiga and Paricha Zdravanovic won the pairs competition at the Mirko Mirčić Memorial. Mango's got a stupidly high score of 64 in OQL last week. Munster won the Irish Interprovincial Championships. Tanganishka, I need Roger Tilling. Tanganishka Shredella won the Mirko Mirčić Memorial Team Quiz. Well done to them.
I bet that's a great pun. We just don't know what it is.
It's probably brilliant. Something about Tanzania. I don't know. Team Northeast beat Zoomsbury Group in OQL. We had a write-in nomination for that. So they get a nomination.
Wonder who that could have been.
Yeah. Vote Team Northeast. Yeah. Quentin Quarantino with the top, not two scoring, top scoring Quiz Nations Asia Pacific semi-finalist. The final is coming up this Friday between Quentin Quarantino and the Motley Crew. That promises to be a fantastic match in Quiz Nations Asia Pacific. We had the Gardeners who won Only Connect tonight, and Warwick who won tonight's University Challenge. And the late edition of those is why the colours have flipped round in a thoroughly unprofessional manner on my slide. You can nominate. I keep banging on about this. Some people do it. tinyurl.com/ATQ nominations for Quizzer, Team of the Week, or shout out. Don't rely on me finding stuff. Tell me who should be nominated. Breaking news-ish. So upcoming events. 7th of October is the next Quizzing Grand Prix. Now there's some Quiz Bowl stuff confirmed. So 14th of October, the ACF Fall Mirror Tournament for students only is going to be at Cambridge University. So if you are a student, and this is aimed at novices, I think.
It is.
So if you're a student and you've never really played Quiz Bowl before, University Challenge type thing, that's a tournament for you. There's also a UK Quiz Bowl Open tournament being held at Warwick University on 28th of October. The International Quizzing Championships are in Torremolinos, 3rd to 5th of November, and there'll be another Quizzing Grand Prix 12th of November. So those are upcoming events. Open for applications. The International Culture Challenge and OQL USA are now open at quizcentral.net. If you go to the Facebook group, The Contestant Hub, you can see all sorts of TV opportunities, including Mastermind and Only Connect. And the Chinese Poetry Quiz is still recruiting. If you are in Shandong, Zhejiang, Fujian, Xinjiang, and Beijing, you can still get your applications in by the end of September. Go to the CCTV website. All of our links for all of our votes and website and all sorts of stuff are at linktree/allthingsquiz. There are no shout outs. That's it.
I want to shout out me and John for scoring the exact same thing at the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're tied. No one I'd rather be tied with, brother.
Yeah.
John was 30th for the second consecutive tournament.
Yeah, consistent. Very consistent.
Mr.
Lewis was 29th because he's better at tiebreakers than me.
This one specific tiebreaker where everyone undershot it by about 100 hours.
But yeah, shout out to Hugh Bennett for a great set of questions.
Yeah, great set. It was great.
And shout out to Lewis for a good buzzer set, and to John Stitcher for a good team quiz.
It was a really fun set, and I forgot to say I really enjoyed the We're Normal Men, We're Innocent Men link at the end of Only Connect, even though it reminded me that I didn't remember Lauren Layfield's name on Saturday.
Well, I mean that was a nice link, and that passed me by. So yeah. Now I feel dumb. So close of the evening, champagne moment. Sorry, all the people in chat. We have brought some stuff on, but it's been such a packed night of discussion. What were people's champagne moments of the day? John, we'll start with you, as you were the first broadcast show of the day. It could be anything. It doesn't.
Yeah. I'm going to go for. It's not one specific moment, but I think just Warwick's overall team performance. I think it's always great on UC. It's nice to see individuals. We've had a few of those this year doing really well, but the whole Warwick team all buzzing in, all getting at least one buzz, and just having some really good teamwork and some overall good vibes there. So just Warwick's overall team performance, I thought was really good.
Nice. Ben, how about you? Obviously, you are allowed to say when it turned out that they hadn't beaten my score. That is fine.
Mm-hmm.
No. I actually go for a bit of a left field one because this is just something I just didn't know. I'm gonna go with Hayden Thompson's answer for how many pits they have on a set of dominoes total.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea how he knew that.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic answer. It's in between that and the Man on the Clapham omnibus and also the Roman numerals one.
That was great, Buzz.
Only Connect.
Yeah.
Warwick are also brilliant, but I tell them not enough. So.
And also, just one fact that I thought was great. Wolfson, I can't remember the name of the person who got the classical music starter question.
Patrick Pan.
Yeah. Straight in on Brahms. I thought it was a great buzz.
Yeah, it was a wonderful buzz. I thought Pan's Campari buzz after 2 negs was fantastic.
Character.
Really good character. Lewis, how about you?
It's only one thing. It's BRJ getting over the line. He's the bad boy of quiz, and he did it. He got there. Sometimes we know lots of people in quiz. There's good people in quiz. There's some bad people in quiz. I'm not naming them. But when you see someone who's like an absolute hilarious, brilliant, very nice man on a show, you know he deserves it. You know he can do it, and it's tense right to the last of a show. Yeah, you needed a bit of luck, Ben, but you got it. You got over the line. I was absolutely delighted for you. It was really, punch the air moment. Like, yeah, he's done it.
Thank you very much for saying that. It actually means a lot.
Yeah, I was really pleased to see you win because I kind of felt that your general knowledge, you showed what you were made of, but you had that really sticky patch at the end. Yeah. And it was like, you could just tell that you're going to be really annoyed by that because otherwise you were looking at, certainly a first round kind of high score on general knowledge, and it just kind of found yourself in a real gloopy, tarry mess.
Got through. That's what it's
I don't know how to describe it, but
persevering is what it's about, right? Yeah. And you did it brilliantly.
Yeah. Rhythm on the general knowledge is so underrated.
So underrated.
Yeah. Like if you knocked out rhythm, it's so hard to like get it going again. But yeah.
Did you find this discussion we should have been having about an hour ago?
We've cut this from earlier.
but did you find any element that you were kicking yourself and thinking about the question before and then not really kind of paying attention to the next question, or was it you just didn't know them?
Oh yeah, at the Brandenburg Gate. Yeah, the Brandenburg Gate where I just I couldn't think of anything in Berlin but the Berlin Wall.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh, the Hero Monument. It said something about a God of Victory. Let's say the Hero Monument. It's just the Brandenburg Gate. Okay. Yeah, that one I did kick myself about. Yeah,
it was a great performance. It was great to see you get through because we know how good you are. We know that given another shot at it, knowing how to prepare your specialist subject next time round, that your general knowledge is up there. Must give you confidence that you scored 12. And didn't do your best on general knowledge, that you've got more in you.
Yep.
But it was great to watch. For my, apart from chicken, winner chicken dinner, which I
your own typing more than the actual question, right?
Sorry,
your own typing of it more than the question as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, your skills on the keyboard.
My those hours spent on Mavis Beaton not been wasted. But I really like when I learn something, and that Black Star line buzz on the Marcus Garvey shipping line. I really like that because it's a really good question. It is kind of workoutable if you were in like a Grand Prix, OQL written quiz type thing. If we'd have got to the Ghana clue, then you'd have had more to piece it together. But Matthew Bliss didn't need that, and he got it. And I just thought that was a lovely question, nice knowledge. I really enjoyed that. So yes, I'm being reminded by Valerie to make sure that if you have got this far into the show, then please make sure you click the like button. If you're not subscribed, please click subscribe. We are done for tonight. We've actually packed an awful lot in, so actually we've not done badly for time. Valerie hasn't kicked me once, which is she has been giving me signals. But no, it's been good. It's been so good to have John and Ben back on. Lewis, of course. Thanks also to Kate and Yvonne from Only Connect and for the Warwick Massif for coming on. Ben, you look like you want to say something. No? You just had a look. You look poised.
Sorry. I butchered the ending.
That's fine. So no, we thank all of those for coming on. Really appreciate it. We haven't got a show without people. Well, we do have a show. That's just me and Lewis. Lewis talking shit
Wouldn't be that fun.
Now.
I'd watch that.
Which, you know, worst thing
One week, I'm sure it'll
world.
happen.
I'd watch that.
But no, thanks so much. Don't forget to vote in what is the question, tinyurl.com/WITQBull. Don't forget to vote for Quizzer and Team of the Week at tinyurl.com/QWSept25. No, all right.
Just go back, rewind this video.
25,
It's fine.
23.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big finish, Gareth. Really, just go into the finish. Go.
Yeah, it's kind of the wheels are coming off. Valerie will put everything out on the social media tonight, and all the votes are open, so you can now just vote to your heart's content. And don't forget to get your Mastermind predictions in. And yeah, if you do want to play our members quiz on Sunday evening, either sign up as a Patreon or do the 7-day free trial, and you'll be able to sneak through for this weekend. We'll be back next week. Who knows who our guests will be? Because the BBC don't tell us in advance who's playing in any given show. But we will certainly be tapping up people who've been on Only Connect previously, and anybody else that we think we can persuade or cajole to come on. Until next week, I'll leave you with Michael's comment. Pips on Domino's classic pub quiz question. On that bombshell, we shall bid you adieu. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.